Okay, good. So we're on. So Priya, thank you for being with me to describe WebGL project number 2. And so we already did a video on WebGL project number 1. And in that video, we clicked on a Google Drive directory. Here, it's going to be a prompt. And also there is a tarball. And we've already downloaded the tarball, which is right here. And inside the tarball, there's a WebGL.html directory and a resources directory. And we opened up the WebGL.html directory and we got this image right here. And so in the first WebGL video interview, we said a couple things. We said that WebGL is OpenGL delivered over to the web, that and so that's good because people do web delivery, and that it works well if you're doing small models, but if you're really interested in performance, then it works not quite as well. And that was, I put that premise to Christian and he agreed. Do you also agree with that summarization?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I guess this is the second video. Probably is the video people would watch second. And so we can kind of get straight into it. So here's the prompt. And I think I saw in the prompt, you're actually recommending the same tutorial as Christian. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so then there's an economy for people that want to do both projects. They can do the same same tutorial once and then use it for 2 projects. And so this sounds pretty cool. So it's going to be like a Windows Pipes screensaver. So I've seen, I've seen the Windows Pipes screensaver before. I don't know if it's the one now that people have seen, but it's pipes that animate and move around, right? And so that's what they're going to make. And so you're giving people some code, this WebGL.html code. My guess is a little different than Christian's in terms of how people will work with it.
Right.
So should we look at that? Do you think that's okay?
Yeah.
And here we go. That's the wrong one. Okay, so here we are, and let me know is this set up the GLSL? This is your prompt right here? Did I do it right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Where should we go? What's interesting in here for students?
So the main difference between Christian's and mine is that there's no long list of vertices that you're going to have to essentially manually create yourself.
Okay.
So in this one, there's actually in the resources, there's something called primitives.js.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll allow you to actually create
It's a big file.
Yeah, it's okay. Very big.
Okay, we won't look at it. Yeah.
At the very end, it gives a list of all of the functions that are in it, and so you can actually create planes. You can create cube. You can create 3D vertices of your own choosing.
Cool.
So for pipes, all you really need to have are the spheres, and then they have something called a truncated cone, which you can edit to make a cylinder.
Okay, neat. And do you use any of this in your WebGL.html?
Yes.
Okay, can we look at that right now? Okay. So where should we look? What should we look for?
So it's, there you go. So right now, currently it is creating a sphere vertices and then creating flattened vertices to apply color to those triangles, essentially. And so the first one is the radius of the sphere. The second one is however many triangles are going around the circumference. And then the third one is how many are going up in the y direction.
Okay.
So you can have 100 triangles going around the circumference and then 10 layers of those.
So can I just make them be 75? And then if I do that and I write here and I reload this page, will I see something different and they're going to be gigantic now?
Yes. they're going to be very, very huge.
Wow, look at that. Cool. Okay, good. So I always like to take things out and start mucking with it and see how it works. So,
and that's what I recommended in my prompt. Just fiddle with those numbers, see what each number does, and understand what it means to have, a true in the first one for the cone and a false in the second one, and that'll actually create that cone instead of a cylinder. But if you have two trues, that'll make that cylinder.
Okay. Neat. Awesome. Windows pipes, there's some animation. Does this have any animation, or are you making a still?
So right now it's making a still because all it's doing is creating 200 of these objects, 100 cylinders and 100 spheres, and then just putting it on there.
Okay.
But there is an animate function that you can edit.
Okay. Are we giving away too much by discussing this?
No, I have it kind of right there in the plan of action.
If I'm ruining the prop, so the number one thing is we don't want to start the video again, right? This is the final take. So if I search for animate.
Or a draw scene, is what it was. So in there, it'll have the creation of the canvas, it'll have that matrix and camera position, all of the things that are making that view for you. And right here, it's doing objects for each and applying those attributes to those objects. So you can have a sphere being rotated in the X direction, in the Y direction. You can have it translated however much, and then you apply that view projection matrix, and it'll put it on there in however oriented you have it. And then you can draw it. And this is how it will actually say for each object that you draw, just put it in there, and then you can draw it.
So, okay, cool. So this is how it's all put in. You know, some familiar stuff to us, GL triangles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, so how does that animate? Or does it animate?
So it doesn't look like it animates. Because it's all essentially giving you the same image as time goes on.
Okay.
So what you will need to do is take that that function that creates those 200 spheres and cylinders and put it into the draw scene so that it will add a new object into that object to draw list, and then keep on adding a new one and have that randomness so that it will have a sphere instead of a cylinder, or translate 90 degrees in the X direction, Y direction is ejection.
Okay. And so then these sorts of commands are going to end up in your draw function, and every time it's rendered again, then it should be adding to it. Did I get that right? Okay.
Yes.
And what prompts it to render again? It's just I do a reload or something, or is it constantly rendering?
It's
here?
constantly rendering. Actually.
Cool. It's constantly rendering. Good. So if I change my function so it's adding and adding, I'll actually see this change.
Yep.
That's the piece I missed. Cool. Well, sounds great. Thanks for putting this together. Is there anything more you want to say about the project?
Just like with the OpenGL projects, it's very punishing if you are wrong. So save constantly, understand what it means to have a change in the X direction and the Y direction, know your orientation, and have fun with it.
Very good. Very good. And no right answer as long as it looks good, right? Very good.